Dr. Ron Paul. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Sounds like the Constitution is alive and well. You encourage me. You know, it shouldn't be that difficult to figure out what we should be doing, because we have a lot of problems. We have fiscal problems. We have foreign policy. We have monetary policies. We have deficit problems. And where do they come from? It's because we don't follow the rule of law. We don't follow the Constitution. If we knew and understood and read Article 1, Section 8, believe me, this government would be much smaller. We would have a lot less taxes, and we could repeal the 16th Amendment and get rid of the income tax. Somewhere along the way, though, we have drifted away from the Constitution, and we as conservatives, especially conservatives running the Republican Party, we have drifted a long way from the positions that we used to hold of limited government. And this is what we have to talk about. We have to talk about what conservatives stand for and what they should be doing, because we're going in the wrong direction. There's not a whole lot of time left, because if we continue to do what we're doing, we're going to have a financial crisis. Because you can't continue to spend too much, because there's a limit on how much you can tax, and we're taxed to the hilt. And then there's a limit on how much borrowing we can do, and we're borrowing to the hilt. We're dependent on China and Saudi Arabia and all these countries because we are the greatest debtor in the whole world today. This is different than the 1970s when we had to pay for guns and butter. Today we're paying for guns and butter again. But today our good jobs are overseas. We owe $2.7 trillion. The whole country is in debt, and what do now when we need more government? We print more money. What is the bailout package all about? Our side of the aisle proposes it, and the Democrats want to increase it. $150 billion? No, that's up to $200 billion. Where does it come from? The government has no money. Well, can we tax people? No, can't tax anymore. What are they going to do? They're going to print the money, devalue the dollar, and that's the problem we have. The dollar's low, prices are high, the people are suffering, the middle class is shrinking, so we offer the same old pablum, the same old baloney, and then we turn around and we say, well, why don't we ask the Federal Reserve to create more money? Nobody seems to have enough money. If we just had more money, maybe it would prop up the stock market. So we go to the Federal Reserve and they badger the Federal Reserve, and the markets say, we need more money, so they crank it out. They lower interest rates. You can't lower interest rates unless you print more money. So they lower interest rates dramatically, like never before. The stock market goes up 200 points. An hour later, they realize it didn't do any good, and the stock market drops up 200 points. So we're in a bind, we're in a fix, and I'll tell you what, where we overspend. Everywhere. We spend too much everywhere. This means we spend too much money overseas, we spend too much domestically, and we don't produce like we used to. So therefore, the only answer is to be truly conservative. And to be truly conservative, you have to truly take your oath of office seriously, and that is obey the Constitution. But we as Republicans and conservatives, we finally got control of the government. 1994, matter of fact, was an exciting year because it was the year I thought I might like to go back to Congress. I'd been in for 4 terms in the 70s and early 80s. Was out, went back to medicine, delivered babies. And in 1994, I thought, well, this country's getting serious. We've, changed the Congress. I'm going back and I'm going to help. So I got back in and was sworn in again in 1997 and was hopeful. In the year 2000, again, hopeful, the Senate, the House, and the presidency. But what have we done? Have we lost our way or what? I mean, remember the old days, the old Reagan days when we used to say, to get rid of the Department of Education? That's what we ought to be doing. So when we get our chance, what did we do? We doubled the size of the Department of Education. We put no child left behind. We did all these things. We've lost credibility, and now we're losing House seats. We've lost control of the House and the Senate. And right now, it looks like we're going to lose even more. And it's not because we are not compassionate. It's because we're not conservative that we're losing. That's how we won before. But now we have a candidate running for president who's leading the charge. One of his best friends is Feingold, campaign finance reform. Another good friend of this leading candidate, his good friend's name is Kennedy, on immigration. And then also his old-time friend, he's not in the Senate right now, but Senator Daschle used to be his good friend on taxes. To increase taxes, not lower taxes. We need lower taxes. So, and now our leading candidate, guess whose position he holds on global warming? Al Gore. He supports the Al Gore bill on global warming. So if you think we can lead this country back to conservative principles, fiscal soundness, and a decent-sized government, you have another thought coming, because it's not going to happen. And therefore, we have to start thinking about like conservatives thought once again. That is what we have to do. We have to know what conservatives think about. You know, on the right to life issue, I believe, I'm a real stickler for civil liberties. I believe that liberty is the most important thing, because if we have our liberties, we have our freedoms, we can have our lives. But it's academic to talk about civil liberties if you don't talk about the true protection of all life. So if you're going to protect liberty, you have to protect the life of the unborn just as well. And I have a bill in Congress which I certainly would promote and push as a president. But it's been ignored basically by the right to life community. And my bill is called the Sanctity of Life Amendment or bill. And what it would do, it was establish the principle that life begins at conception. And somebody says, oh, why are you saying that? And I says, well, that's not a political statement. That's a scientific statement that I'm making. It's something we could have done. I know we're all interested in a better court system and amending the Constitution to protect life. But sometimes I think that is dismissing the way we can handle this much quicker. And in my bill, what it does, it removes the jurisdiction of the federal courts from the issue of abortion. If a state law says no abortion, it doesn't go to the Supreme Court to be ruled out of order.